She doesn't just walk down the usual paths, she creates her own. Sigma females are not merely unique. They're a rare breed whose scarcity is their superpower. They don't squeeze into the molds made for the many, nor will they ever. Society often tries to measure women by how well they fit in, to be part of a group. But a Sigma female doesn't wait for anyone's approval to live life her way. If you've ever felt like you don't belong, not because you're missing something, but because you notice things others overlook, this isn't a drawback. It's your edge. The world may not be designed for people like you, but that's exactly why you're equipped to navigate it on your own terms. You don't seek approval, you don't force friendships, and you don't reshape yourself to blend in. You choose to be yourself, and that decision makes you stand out. However, not every Sigma female acts the same. Some work from the shadows, influencing things unseen. Some love their solitude, making their impact felt only when needed. Some are planners, some shake things up, and others quietly change the power dynamics without a word. Each has her own unique strength, her own special way of viewing the world. This isn't about becoming a Sigma female. If these words strike a chord with you, you already are one. Now, it's time to embrace it. Before we begin, if you are enjoying the content, hit that subscribe button. Now, let's get into the video. Kicking things off, meet the asymmetrical warrior. She doesn't engage in battles like everyone else because she doesn't have to. While others stick to old strategies, she's steps ahead, rewriting the rules along the way. Clashes are for those who can't think outside the box. She avoids direct conflicts, preferring to surprise her adversaries from unexpected angles. This is the woman you can't pin down. Try to control her, and she'll elude you. Try to trick her, and you'll find she was never within your reach. She acts without announcing her moves or seeking approval. She adapts on the fly. While others are still figuring out what happened, she's already adapting. If patience is needed, she waits. If action is required, she acts swiftly and sharply. She isn't wedded to one tactic because she knows that unpredictability is the ultimate strategy. She doesn't expend energy on unnecessary conflicts. She chooses her battles wisely, those that tilt the balance in her favor. She lets foes think they have the upper hand, only to overturn it suddenly. But her approach isn't about deceit. It's about mastery. It's about knowing that force isn't always the answer. It's about understanding that true strength comes from adaptability, precision, and the ability to move in unforeseeable ways. While everyone watches the obvious players, she operates discreetly, biding her time. And when she strikes, it's already too late for the rest. Next, the phantom within the machine. She isn't the one out front, leading the charge for all to see. Instead, she's the hidden influence, the quiet strength behind the scenes, shifting outcomes without drawing attention. In a world where everyone seeks the limelight, she prefers to be the unseen force that steers the course without being noticed. Picture a chess game where one piece moves so subtly that its influence is only felt when it's too late. That's her. While others command loudly and make bold moves, she quietly assesses every element, influencing subtly without ever being the obvious target. Her power comes from her stealth, her ability to connect dots and orchestrate events so smoothly, it seems like magic. Her extraordinary ability isn't about being unambitious, but a deep realization that real power often stems from being understated. She doesn't need visibility to be impactful. Rather, she creates effects that can change entire scenarios. Whether it's steering a discussion, managing behind-the-scenes dealings, or sharing insights that alter viewpoints, her influence is profound, even if she's not the face of the action. Her approach isn't about staying hidden or passive. It's about using a unique kind of influence that arises from careful observation and discretion. She knows not every fight needs a frontal assault, and sometimes the best way to win is to let others think they're in charge. By doing so, she maintains control, often without others realizing she's been orchestrating the whole time. Her quiet confidence and strategic actions remind us that leadership isn't about being the loudest or most visible. It's about deliberate actions, accuracy, and the bravery to work without acclaim. For those who understand real influence, she teaches a powerful lesson in how true impact can be both subtle and deeply effective. She is like the unshakable guardian. She doesn't waste words, she avoids pointless arguments, and she certainly doesn't feel compelled to prove anything to anyone. While others engage in ego-driven disputes, eager to be correct, she observes, calm, poised, and completely unaffected. It's not that she lacks opinions, she simply chooses not to spend her energy on those who don't matter. Her silence isn't weakness, it's a signal, a calm, calculated patience that shows she's evaluating, deciding, and preparing. When she speaks, she's concise, direct, and decisive. Her actions are quick, definite, and without second-guessing. People often misinterpret her restraint as disinterest, but they're entirely mistaken. She experiences deep emotions, yet she doesn't let these emotions control her actions. She doesn't allow anger to drive her to recklessness. She doesn't let provocations draw her into trivial squabbles. She knows real power lies not in reacting, but in choosing when and how to react. That's what sets her apart. That's what makes her formidable to those who underestimate her. She lets things go, not because she's weak, but because she recognizes their insignificance. Yet, when a crucial line is crossed, she doesn't shout. She changes the game, and then there's no going back. She sets boundaries with absolute clarity, no second chances, no prolonged discussions, just a firm resolution that, once made, is irrevocable. She navigates life with a silent force that commands respect, not through coercion, but by her mere presence. She is the quiet before the upheaval, the calm before the action, and by the time others comprehend her true nature, it's too late. Some call her the practical empath. She understands others' feelings before they even speak. Many people get caught up reacting to emotions, whether drowning in their own or being swayed by others. But she remains in control. She doesn't just feel emotions. She analyzes them like a chess player anticipates an opponent's next move. Unlike typical empaths who feel overwhelmed by others' emotions, she stays composed, treating her observations as tools rather than burdens. This isn't about being unfeeling. It's about being sharp-witted. She can detect tension in a room before it escalates, notice someone's insecurity before it shows, and uncover real intentions behind polite gestures. She knows what people need to hear versus what they want to hear, allowing her to steer conversations accurately, making people feel acknowledged without losing herself. Often, people confuse empathy for weakness, thinking deep feelings make one delicate, but she disproves this. She knows when to be close and when to step back, when to show warmth and when to remain aloof. She's not burdened by others' emotions. She's there to understand them, look beyond them, and use this insight to her benefit. This skill makes her nearly impossible to deceive. Manipulators dislike her because their ploys fail. She recognizes when words don't align with true intentions. Deceivers avoid her as she spots inconsistencies effortlessly. Those who love drama find she won't play along, and her words carry weight because she truly understands people. Not just their actions, but their concealed fears, desires, and vulnerabilities. She listens not just to what you say, but also to what you mean. That's her power. She navigates the world not just with deep feelings, but with deep thought. In a world full of emotional turmoil, she stands as a beacon of clarity, impossible to fool and even harder to overlook. A Sigma female is an efficient eliminator. She doesn't argue, doesn't justify, doesn't drain her energy on long, drawn-out farewells. When she realizes someone doesn't deserve a place in her life, she removes them cleanly, efficiently, and decisively. There's no anger, no desire for revenge, just silence. A quiet, deliberate disappearance that closes any door to negotiation. One day, you're part of her life. The next day, you're not. Not out of cruelty, but because she prioritizes her peace over maintaining relationships just for the sake of it. Unlike others, she doesn't hold on to relationships out of nostalgia or duty. She doesn't tolerate harmful behaviors hoping they'll change. She's impervious to manipulative apologies and false promises. Once she sees a pattern of disrespect, dishonesty, or negativity, she decides, and once decided, she doesn't look back. Her departure isn't loud. She fades away gradually until her absence is felt. No confrontation, no drama, just a void where she once was. And by the time others realize she's gone for good, it's too late. She behaves this way because she knows that toxic people thrive on the reactions they provoke. They feed on chaos, on disputes, on the emotional energy of being pursued or persuaded to stay. She denies them this pleasure. She doesn't seek closure through confrontation because walking away is closure enough for her. That's why she's unmanipulable. She sees through feigned sincerity, guilt trips, and the tiresome cycle of toxicity, and instead of engaging, she does what most fear. She severs ties permanently. No warnings, no second chances, just a definitive end and a life that instantly feels lighter as soon as she departs. She's a calculated architect. She doesn't live by chance. Everything in her world is deliberately planned. While others meander through life, hoping for the best, she moves with intent, meticulously crafting every aspect with precision. She isn't influenced by fleeting feelings or the expectations of others. Her life is a carefully designed blueprint, and she's both the planner and the executor. Every relationship, every routine, every decision is scrutinized, tested, and assessed with a single question: does this benefit me? If the answer is no, she removes it without hesitation. No guilt, no remorse, just a necessary removal to preserve the structure she is building. She doesn't keep people around out of sentiment. She doesn't cling to habits that hinder her, and she definitely doesn't let emotions cloud her judgment when deciding to cut off what's unnecessary. Some see her as cold. She sees it as being efficient. While others get stuck in harmful relationships, waste years on unfruitful endeavors, and let their feelings dictate their futures, she stays focused. She knows that attachment to the wrong things is the fastest path to failure. Weakness is found in indecision, in the inability to discard what no longer serves a purpose. She doesn't have time for that. This doesn't mean she lacks feelings. She does feel, but emotions don't control her. She processes them, understands them, and then advances without allowing them to upset her plans. She doesn't make decisions based on temporary emotions. She makes them based on lasting impact. That's what makes her unstoppable. People might misinterpret her detachment as harshness, but they overlook the truth. She isn't heartless, she's disciplined. She's playing the long game, creating a life that is solid, stable, and free from unnecessary turmoil. And while others waste time defending their poor choices, she is already steps ahead, refining, improving, and constructing something unshakable. A Sigma female is a quiet disruptor. She never raises her voice, never directly challenges anyone, and doesn't have to. Just being there is enough to make those who are not confident feel unsettled. She doesn't have to attack anyone's ego. She just exists in such a way that it disturbs those who are already fragile. When she enters a room, suddenly, someone feels they have to show off. They might speak louder, boast about what they've done, or try to belittle her in subtle ways. However, she remains calm, steady, and unimpressed. She doesn't respond, and that bothers them the most. Insecurity feeds on being acknowledged. People who are not sure of themselves look for constant approval, an audience for their actions. But she doesn't engage. She doesn't flatter egos, doesn't cater to insecurities, and she definitely doesn't act impressed by false confidence. Instead, she acts like a mirror, showing people their true selves. Her silence is deliberate, not passive. She listens more than she talks, observing as people unknowingly show their real selves. And when she speaks, she's precise, cutting through the nonsense with a single remark, a lift of her eyebrow, or a knowing smile. That's enough to shake people up. This is why she intimidates or is disliked by those with weak characters. They can't control their reactions around her, and they dislike that they feel the need to impress her. But deep down, they realize she reveals what they are trying to hide, simply by being who she is. She doesn't openly challenge egos. She does it subtly, effortlessly, and that makes her a threat to those whose self-worth is shaky. Additionally, she is an emotional decoder. She doesn't just hear words, she hears the silence between them. Every hesitation, change in tone, and quick look tells her something, and she knows how to read these signs. Where others accept words at face value, she digs deeper, unlocking the hidden feelings, fears, and motives that people try to hide. This makes her hard to fool. Lies are clear to her. She senses the doubt behind them. Compliments don't influence her because she detects the insecurity in them. Manipulation stops before it starts because she understands the real reasons behind people's actions. She doesn't just sense emotions, she grasps the mechanics behind them, giving her an advantage that few have. People feel exposed around her without understanding why. She has a way of making them reveal more than they mean to, uncovering layers they didn't even know they had. It's not magic. It's her ability to recognize patterns. She has spent years observing, learning, and decoding the silent language of humans. She can open people up like unlocking a door with the right words at the right moment. However, she's not always gentle with this skill. She knows when to be soft and when to press hard. She can make someone feel secure, understood, and listened to, but she can also quickly dismantle any false bravado. A simple question from her can deeply unsettle someone, making them face the truth. Most people guess what others think. She doesn't guess. She knows. And in a world where understanding people often means having power, she holds the keys to many minds that others can't even begin to understand. The hidden tactician. She doesn't need to be in the spotlight. While others scramble to be noticed, she's quietly arranging outcomes from behind the scenes. Unlike those who depend on dominance and force to get their way, she uses precision, moving the right pieces at the right time. People think she's passive because she doesn't seek attention, but that's their mistake. She's not passive. She's strategic. She watches, listens, and studies patterns. While others act on impulse, she collects information, waiting for the perfect time to act. She never makes a move without knowing exactly what will happen, and when she acts, it's quick, clear, and unopposed. The beauty of her strategy is that most don't see it coming. They underestimate her because she doesn't show off her intelligence or declare her plans. They think she's just there, harmless and uninvolved. But, in reality, she's positioning herself precisely, making silent decisions that will shape the entire scenario. She avoids unnecessary conflicts. She doesn't argue just to make a point. She knows that real control isn't about being loud or forceful. It's about influence. And influence doesn't need noise. It needs patience, vision, and the skill to change outcomes without being noticed. By the time others realize what's happened, it's too late. The situation has changed, the power has shifted, and she's exactly where she intended to be, all without showing her hand. This is why she's a threat to those who rely on brute strength and intimidation. She plays a different game, one that many don't even realize is being played. And while others vie for fleeting attention, she controls the entire situation without ever needing to be seen. She is truly the independent spirit. She stands out, not because she was excluded, but because she chose to walk away. Instead of changing herself to fit in, she embraces being different. She doesn't try to fit in, not because she can't, but because she prefers not to. This isn't about feeling lonely or being rejected. She isn't suffering from being alone. She actually enjoys it. While many people stay in social groups because they're afraid of being alone, she realizes something very important. Being detached means being free. She doesn't rely on a group's approval, a leader's nod, or a rank in society to feel stable. She is her own support. People might think she doesn't like socializing, but that's not true. She can mingle easily when she chooses to. She can chat, handle social situations, and even be the life of the party if needed. But the key is, she doesn't need to. Socializing is her choice, not a necessity. She watches from the side, joining in only when it benefits her, not because she feels the need to fit in. Her distance isn't coldness, it's clarity. She sees the world as it is, not clouded by what society expects. She notices how people stick to meaningless traditions, create friendships of convenience, and lose their identities in group thinking. She won't play that game, and because she doesn't need others' approval, she acts differently. She chooses her friends wisely, spends her time deliberately, and lets go easily when things don't match her principles. She doesn't stay where she isn't valued, doesn't deal with nonsense, and doesn't say sorry for putting herself first. That's what sets her apart. She isn't looking for a group to fit into, she's making her own way. And while others are afraid of being left out, she enjoys her unique perspective from the outside, seeing the world just as it is. Moreover, she has the minimalist edge. She lives life sharply, efficiently, and without unnecessary burdens. She lets go of anything that slows her down, whether it's people, things, or feelings. Every connection and item in her life must have a purpose. If it doesn't, she drops it without second thoughts. This isn't about deprivation, it's about freedom. Unlike those who hoard more to feel safe, she knows that real strength comes from being unencumbered. The fewer possessions she has, the less she is controlled by them. The fewer people she allows close, the fewer weaknesses she has. That's why she keeps her circle tight and her lifestyle simple. Not because she can't have more, but because she refuses to be dragged down by things that don't truly benefit her. Her detachment isn't cold, it's strategic. She values deep connections, but doesn't waste energy on superficial ones. She understands the difference between loyalty and obligation, between real bonds and unnecessary ties. If someone is toxic, unreliable, or not needed, she cuts them off quickly, neatly, and without drama. No second chances, no long farewells, just a silent exit. The same goes for everything in her life. She doesn't follow trends, collect sentimental clutter, or keep things just to have them. Her belongings reflect her mindset, practical, purposeful, and ready for action. She's always prepared to walk away because she controls her life. It doesn't control her. This makes her difficult to manipulate. You can't influence someone who isn't afraid to lose. You can't dominate someone who has let go of all that is unnecessary. She embodies efficiency and strength. She carries only what she needs, keeping her hands and mind clear. And when it's time to act, she moves quickly, freely, and decisively. She's a resilient visionary who sees beyond the immediate challenges, peering into the future with clarity that most lack. While others get tangled in day-to-day struggles, she rises above, charting a course that only she can see. Her foresight isn't just about predicting outcomes. It's a deep understanding that every challenge is an opportunity in disguise. She doesn't let setbacks sway her or temporary defeats bog her down. Instead, she uses them as stepping stones, learning from each experience, refining her strategies, and moving forward with renewed determination. Her path isn't linear. It's a calculated journey towards a larger vision. Even when others doubt her methods because they can't see the end goal, she remains steadfast, knowing that true progress comes from persistence and the courage to pursue paths that others may not understand. This makes her not just a dreamer, but a doer, someone who transforms visions into reality. Moreover, she's an unyielding innovator for whom innovation is a playground. Where most see limitations, she sees potential. This mindset isn't about simple creativity. It's a relentless drive to improve, evolve, and break boundaries. She thrives in environments others find restrictive because she views constraints as catalysts for creativity. Unwilling to accept the status quo or adhere to established norms, she constantly questions, challenges, and reinvents. Her approach to life and work involves a continuous cycle of experimentation and adaptation. Fear of failure doesn't deter her because she understands that each failure is a step closer to a breakthrough. Her strength lies in her refusal to be complacent, always searching for better solutions, smarter strategies, and more effective methods. This ongoing pursuit of innovation keeps her steps ahead, always ready to adapt and evolve, making her an unstoppable force in any endeavor she pursues. To wrap up, I say that, embrace your inner Sigma female. In a world that pressures you to conform, the Sigma female is a quiet example of the power of independence, self-awareness, and resilience. She doesn't seek others' approval because she knows her own value. Whether she's the silent strategist, the insightful observer, or the determined pioneer, each role shows a unique aspect of her strength, a strength built from within, not from others' approval. You aren't meant to fit a mold, and that's exactly why you're a Sigma female. You understand that true strength isn't about being loud or pushing into the spotlight. It's about mastering yourself and making your own path, regardless of the distractions around you. You are the one who lives with intention, who never settles for less, and who refuses to be swayed by anything that doesn't help you grow. So, remember that your quietness is not a weakness. It's your secret strength. Your ability to watch, listen, and act when it truly matters makes you a formidable presence. You are in charge, not by overpowering others, but by knowing your worth and keeping your focus sharp on your goals. Continue embracing the qualities in you that others may not understand. The world needs more women who recognize their worth, who don't diminish themselves to fit traditional roles, and who move through life with the calm assurance that comes from deep self-knowledge. You are more than enough as you are, and in a noisy, distracting world, your ability to stay true to your own path is what truly distinguishes you as a genuine Sigma female. Keep trusting yourself. Keep advancing. You're not here to blend in. You're here to redefine what it means to flourish on your own terms. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, then please leave a like and comment your thoughts down below. Are you also a lone wolf? Let me know. I truly appreciate your opinions. To learn more, click on the videos on screen and subscribe if you want more content like this. I'll see you in the next one. Until next time.